Hello everyone, Jem here, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about a card that when I first started playing, I thought was crazy. I thought this card was insane. Like, broken. But as I've become a better player and played more, I don't know, I've kind of thought less of it. But I just want to show it off to you, and let you form your own opinions. I'll give some examples of how it's played, talk about some of my experiences with it, and that card is Telepathy. Telepathy is a enchantment for 1 blue that simply says each of your opponents plays with their hand revealed. Now, when you first read this card, you think it's broken, of course. It looks like a better Gataxian probe because it sits on the battlefield and reveals everyone's hand at the same time. Well, it doesn't draw a card. The upside of being able to see everyone's hand is pretty dang good, you think. However, the downside is that everyone can see your opponent's hands. That means that your opponents can play around your opponent's things, and just in general, it slows the game down a whole lot. Nobody wants to play anything if they see somebody holding a counter spell, and nobody wants to attack if everyone's holding removal spells. There's also some times where it might drastically speed up a game. I remember distinctly a game where I played Telepathy, and everyone had their hand revealed, and one player immediately realized that nobody could stop a combo they could play, and won the game on their turn. One thing Telepathy can be really good at is helping you politic with other players. Let's give an example. Let's say you want to cast a board wipe, but one of your opponents, who's playing a lot of tokens, is holding a heroic intervention in their hand, and you can see that. However, you can also see that another one of your opponents is holding a counterspell. You could then say, I want to cast a board wipe in my hand, and if I cast it, will you counterspell this other player's heroic intervention? In this case, you could also see that Telepathy is kind of meta-dependent. If you play a lot of politicking in your games, then maybe it's really strong. But if you have less of those sorts of interactions, then Telepathy might just not do anything. We can also talk about what kind of decks Telepathy might be good in, if you want to play it. The obvious answer is something like a control deck, maybe Send triplets. Telepathy could also be playable in group hug decks, where you want to encourage that sort of collaborative action I mentioned earlier with the counterspell and the board wipe. But Telepathy is definitely not the kind of card you just slot into a deck randomly. It has a lot of baggage attached to it, and you won't need to be prepared for the kind of games it creates. Speaking of which, there's also the obvious situation where an opponent gets really salty that they have to reveal their hand all the time. And of course, one of the most important parts of Telepathy is that you get to keep your hand secret. However, this could just paint a bigger target on your back because you're the wild card to your opponents. They don't know what you're holding while they can see everyone else's face up on the table. These sorts of cards make you be targeted for no reason other than you have them. But with all that being said, what do you think of Telepathy? Is there anything I've forgotten or haven't noticed about the card? Let me know down in the comments, and also let me know if you're considering putting Telepathy in any decks now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And also don't forget to subscribe. Bye!